Hi there, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. I'm Sheila Maria. It's wonderful to be with you. And I'm jumping on today to allow my beautiful spirit guide, Rose, to speak to you about soul agreements. One of the things that I have noticed at the minute is people feeling as if there's no movement within their lives, feeling as if they don't really have any way of moving forward. And I also see people that are trying to achieve something which seems to be eluding them in one way or another. So I asked Rose, she's one of my favourite guides, and she said she wanted to talk to you all about soul agreements. So I haven't done any trancing for a little while, certainly not live. And I've got lots of new subscribers on YouTube. So thank you very, very much for being here. This is what I do away from my private work. What I love about Rose is that she is so loving. She is just so loving. She has the most beautiful energy. So I am going to let her take over. Then I will probably stop the video on YouTube and we'll see where we go next. If you're on Facebook, hello, hello, hello. Hi, Josephine. Lovely to have you here. If you haven't liked, shared and subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, because when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do a mass card pull for many of you, and I'm going to let you all know when that's going to be. So when I get to 1,000 subscribers, that's something we're going to do. Okay, so I am now going to bring Rose through. Takes a couple of seconds and she'll be here. I am Rose. It is good to be with you. I can see so many of you are feeling as though you are running out of options. You feel as though the decisions that you have to make are highly changeable and are tantamount to chaos and disruption. And you are craving both more stability and more excitement at the same time. Your earth is moving even as we speak through the dimensions, her vibrations moving up, consciousness raising, the light pouring in, showing everyone what needs to be healed, what needs to be understood. And so for you in your life, I want you to understand that the mechanisms of the whole affect you personally here and now. Many of you feel as though you are being tugged and pulled in directions that you have no choice in. And this is something that is going to carry on unless you decide to be the main influence in your personal world. And so I would like to turn our attention today to the subjects of your relationships with your loved ones, your spouses, your friends, and all of the people that you interact with on a regular basis. Many of you are feeling as though you are being taken for granted. Many of you feel as though your needs are no longer being met. And yet you continue in these agreements as if there is no way out, as if you had signed a contract in blood, and as if you have to make do with how things are. And I will say to you that this was never your plan. You made agreements with your soulmates in the first instance. And it was understood that those agreements would change and ultimately end in due course upon your time on earth. Sometimes that ending happens naturally and amicably, and sometimes there appears to be a loss and a painful parting of the ways. What I am witnessing from my vantage point is that many of you are loath to admit to yourselves that these agreements have run their course. And I would like to talk about the effect on remaining in a relationship or an interaction where the soul agreement has ended some time ago. First of all, the reason that a soul agreement ends is because there is a different calibration between each individual soul. And there comes a time when the maximum amount of learning and the maximum amount of teaching has been done. And very often it is the soulmate with the lower vibration that can accept the ending of the term. And very often it is the soulmate with the higher level of awareness that tends to cling on. We find this very interesting because many of you with a higher level of awareness understand that love never dies, it simply changes form. And many of you with a higher level of awareness do know that you are always supported to, and you came here to grow, you came here to learn, and you came here for things to change. And so I would like to address those of you that find yourself in a relationship, and within this relationship, the balance is very uneven. Perhaps your physical needs are not being met, or perhaps it is because your financial needs are met that you continue to stay. And yet your soul is yearning for the mate that can best love you and accept you at this point in your life. And there are many of you that in your yearning for this soulmate do irreparable damage to the path that you had planned prior to this life. Very often remaining in an interaction where there is no longer respect and communication, where there is no longer a good degree of friendship and perhaps intimacy, where there is no longer an even appreciation of each other, will limit your vibrational ratio to such an extent that your soulmates simply pass you by. And the very twin flame, or the very lover, or the very friend, or the very whoever this is that you were destined to meet, that you had arranged to meet, passes you by because your vibration is much, much more scattered and much, much more toxic than it otherwise would be if you had allowed the soul agreement to end and for your new soul path to begin. And on the topic of soulmates, I would like to tell you that there is never just one person for you. Very often you get fixated upon one particular person being the only person that can meet all of your needs. And again, I say to you, it is very often the soulmate with the lower vibration that understands that this is not the case. They know that they are not the only one for you. And because it was built into the agreement that you made, that you would learn about yourself, the fact that they are refusing to give you what you believe they should is often seen that they are unhealed and they do not recognize that they are the only one for you, and you in turn are the only one for them. And we will say in many ways the soulmate with the lower vibration, the soulmate who seems to be less healed, is actually the one adhering to the agreement that you both wrote. And so I will say to you again, if you feel that the person of your choice is not giving you what they should be giving you, it is because the soul agreement is done. And they are acknowledging the end of this agreement by showing you their unreliability and showing you that their attention is naturally focused on themselves. It is not because they are bad, and it is not because they are wrong. And so the idea that there is only one soulmate, the one that you can see, the one that you know in the whole of the universe for you, is very linear, very limited, and very fearful, my dears. And so I would ask each of you, if you are unsure as to whether or not the soul relationship that you have is supposed to continue, I ask you this: be open, be receptive, be aware that if one party understands that it is done, they will literally stop communicating you in the way that they did. The effects of their energy will be toxic for you. The moods that they present to you will be quite low. The commitment that they make to you will be offhand and less loving. Their desire for you physically will be less. All of these are signs that whilst they do not want to be the one to hurt you, they know that they are not the one that is meant for you now. And when you say, but we have children, we have commitments, we have a house, we have bills to pay, I cannot leave, we will say that the universe recreates itself every second of every moment, in every realm, in every way. If the universe can create multiple worlds and multiple realms, the universe can bring you a solution to the financial, practical, and emotional issues that you face. And I say to you with great awareness that you do not like change. Change is the only constant that there is. And the reason, my dear, that you came to the earth plane was to allow the fear of those changes to be part of the experience that you would have. It is not that fear is wrong. Fear is a signpost that your higher self has already changed course. And you sense that the course is about to change. And what you do is cling. You may cling to a person, a marriage contract, a job, an infrastructure which is meant to collapse, just as eventually all infrastructures have to collapse. And so I will say, when you do this, you disallow the soulmates and the abundance and the opportunities and the more loving timeline that your higher self has prepared for you and was about to start to flow in. And so if you do not know whether or not the relationship or the friendship or the job or whatever it is meant to continue, my advice is this: be open to change. Be open to new people. Be open to the energy of love in other forms. You do not have to go out there and find love. If you are open and receptive and you are enjoying the being that you are, it is my guarantee that your light will be bright enough for love to find you. And the soulmates that you know very well here in heaven, the ones that you arrange to meet later on, will show up without any effort, without any loss, and most especially without, my dear, any pain and fear. I am Rose, and I am sending you so much love and so much good wishes for all the new soulmates and all the new soul agreements that are ready for you in the weeks and the months to come. Don't be afraid, be open, be receptive, and love will find you. We love you, my dears. Okay, bye-bye, YouTube.